I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Tuesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. A Tuesday night that finds us that much closer to the Jaguars and the Titans this Sunday at 1 o'clock. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL. Of course, a win for Jacksonville on Sunday will give them the 2025 AFC South Championship and will guarantee them at least one home playoff game. The Jaguars will be back in the Miller Electric Center tomorrow, beginning preparations for the Tennessee Titans. I will be down there inside the Jaguar locker room tomorrow afternoon. Certainly looking forward to that. Getting some one-on-one conversations that you will hear the remainder of the week here on Hacker After Dark. We will be here with you tomorrow. We're off Thursday for New Year's Day, and then we will be back on Friday to close out the week, heading into a big football weekend. The college football playoff gets back underway tomorrow with the quarterfinals, including Miami and Ohio State. So there is a ton to get into in the world of sports. We are with you until 10 o'clock this evening. Guest lineup looks like this. Coming up in about 15 minutes or so. Actually, check that. Probably more about 25 minutes or so. My buddy Mike DeRocco, D-Rock, ESPN.com, as we will talk Jaguars, we will talk Titans, we will look at the AFC playoff picture as well. So Mike DeRocco of ESPN.com joins us coming up right about 8:30 or so this evening. Also, Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country and the host of the Duval Dive podcast. He will stop by in the 9 o'clock hour as we will once again look at the Jaguars, look at some of the playoff options that they will have if they knock off Tennessee on Sunday. So a ton of Jaguars tonight with both Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country and, of course, Mike DeRocco of ESPN.com. We're glad you're with us on a Tuesday night here in the city of Jacksonville. Every night on HAD, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal? What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
You know, there's a saying that sports fans use from time to time. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it, but I haven't disagreed with it as much maybe in the past as I do right now. And that saying is this: it's the Jimmies and the Joes, not the X's and the O's. Well, you say, well, Hacker, yeah, I've heard that. What does it mean? Well, I mean, it's pretty simple, I think. There are some people that will tell you it is the players out there. It is the Jimmies and the Joes. It's not necessarily the coaching. It's not the X's and the O's. And I've never really thought about it. I mean, I've heard that saying a lot. But now, after following the 2025 Jacksonville Jaguars, I can comfortably tell you how much I disagree with that statement. Because it is coaching. You will never again be able to tell me in the National Football League that coaching doesn't matter, that coaching is not important. After what I've seen Liam Cohen and this staff do here in Jacksonville with the Jacksonville Jaguars during the 2025 season. Take some of the examples, right? Let's look at Antonio Johnson. Let's begin right there. I'm old enough to remember when people were telling me that Antonio Johnson was going to be released during training camp, that he was constantly out of position, that he couldn't do anything right. And then all of a sudden, Antonio Johnson has decided to intercept 4 balls this year, be a big part of that secondary, and now with the injury to Jordan Lewis, play a little nickel on top of some safety responsibilities. Antonio Johnson's the same athlete he was last year. It's no difference. He didn't suddenly get faster. He didn't suddenly grow taller. He's just being coached better. It's not the Jimmies and the Joes. It is the X's and the O's. Montaric Brown is another one. Montaric Brown is a guy that, did anybody give him a thought coming into this year? Any of you Jaguar fans, when talking about the secondary? We were talking about Travis Hunter at the time. We were talking about Tyson Campbell. Remember him? We were talking about Jarian Jones, probably because he was a Seminole. Jordan Lewis was the new acquisition. Were we giving Montaric Brown any thought in August? No. And now here we are going into the last week of the regular season, and dare I say, Montaric Brown is the best corner on this football team. Again, did he suddenly get faster? Did he suddenly get better athletic traits? Or is he just simply being coached better? And those are just 2 examples. You can go, Devin Lloyd, good grief, man. Devin Lloyd was a guy that we always said was good against the run, would get lost in pass coverage. I even said that in the past. I'm not going to throw stones in a glass house here. I don't do that on Hacker After Dark. Devin Lloyd has not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 interceptions in 2025. Same guy. Making a heck of a lot more plays down the field now than he ever did prior. It is the X's and the O's, not the Jimmies and the Joes. And then finally, and then you could list a ton more examples on defense, but for the benefit of time, let's go to the offensive side of the ball. Travis Etienne is having a career year. Why is that? Because he's being put in position to have a career year by Liam Cohen in this Jaguar offense. And then above all else, Trevor Lawrence. Did Trevor Lawrence get more athletic in 2025 than he was in the previous 4 years? Did he get a stronger arm? Did he grow taller? Did his brain increase? No. He's just simply got a better coach than what he's had in years past. That's what it boils down to, guys. We can sit here and break down all this stuff, the footwork and the decision-making and all of the stuff, ball placement, and that's all fine and well, and we will break it down. At the end of the day, Liam Cohen is the best coach that Trevor Lawrence has had in the National Football League. Period. And you see the results. Don't ever let anybody tell you that it's the Jimmies and the Joes, not the X's and the O's. Don't let anybody ever tell you from this point forward that it's the players. It's not the coaching in the NFL. Because the 2025 Jacksonville Jaguars are proof that it's coaching. Many of the same guys that were here for 4-13 last year. And by the way, the free agent acquisitions that were brought in to help this team, not exactly household names. You didn't bring in a bunch of Pro Bowlers or All Pros. Veteran free agents with a lot of the nucleus that went 4-13 last year, and now all of a sudden in 1 year's time, you go from 4-13 to 12-4. One of the greatest turnarounds in NFL history. and you're on the cusp of winning your 13th game and winning the AFC South for only the third time this century, when you ask yourself, how did this happen? The answer is clear. It's short, it's precise, and it's clear. There's not a lot of thinking that needs to go into it. Why are the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2025 so much better than they were in 2024? And for that matter, in many years prior to that? Coaching. Liam Cohen, Grant Udinski, Anthony Campanile. Coaching is the reason why this team is so much better now than they were in years past. It is the X's and the O's, and maybe it's not so much of the Jimmies and the Joes. 641-1010 on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Your thoughts always welcome here on a Tuesday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We will get in to the Jaguars and the Titans, the Tennessee Titans. I talked to some people up in Nashville today, a few of them. We're actually going to get some guys on from Nashville tomorrow night and then likely again on Friday. But I wanted to kind of get a gauge of this team. The last team in the way of the Jaguars winning a division championship and being guaranteed at least one home playoff game. Got some, what I would call, interesting tidbits on the Tennessee Titans. We'll talk about it. We'll talk AFC playoff picture. We'll talk NFC playoff picture with you next. Again, Mike DeRocco, ESPN.com. D-Rock joins us in less than 20 minutes. On a Tuesday night here in Northeast Florida, we're glad you're with us. It's Hacker After Dark.
What could Jacksonville do better? Find out from one of our best ever as David Garrard joins Mike and Fat Tony on Jaguars Today. Monday from 10 to noon. Restored by Resto Pros of Northeast Florida on 1010XL.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Truth Teller here, and I've solved all of your holiday problems and stress. A gift card from the Blue Crab Crab House. Get this, you buy a $50 gift card, and you get an additional $15 card for free. It's that simple, and as always at the Blue Crab Crab House, the best crabs in Jacksonville, oysters and seafood, period. Blue Crab Crab House, open every day except for Monday, off of San Jose on Jewington Creek Road.
John Osher knows Jacksonville football like Jack's Beach knows the ocean.
That makes two of us.
Wednesdays from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today. Served up by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft on 1010XL.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
What Major League Baseball player was once walked intentionally with the bases loaded?
For over 20 years, Southern Oak Insurance has given Floridians a better alternative to their current homeowner's policy. See what you can get with Southern Oak. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Barry Bonds, who has the most career walks, was once walked intentionally with the bases loaded. Better one-run scoring than a whole lot more.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey. Look, I was recently talking with Patrick and the team at Apex Roofing and Contracting, and even in a tough economic year, they wanted me to say thank you. Guys, Apex is locally owned and they truly appreciate every homeowner and business owner who trusts them with roof repairs, replacements, or construction projects this year. So from the entire Apex crew and from me, happy holidays to all of our listeners, customers, and clients. And remember, for quality work from a team that cares about our community, that's ApexRoofingFL.com.
Monahan Jewelers is ending the year with up to 40% off the entire store. Special savings on designer brands and some items marked at 50 to 60% off. We've been adding new merchandise throughout the holidays, and with interest-free financing on any purchase, it's easy to get a beautiful piece for a low monthly payment. Certified diamonds and engagement rings are our specialty. Support your local family jeweler for 48 years. It's our end-of-the-year sale with up to 40% off our entire inventory and some items marked at 50 to 60% off. Visit Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Jaguars Titans Sunday 1 o'clock. You'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. Of course, a win for Jacksonville will give them the AFC South crown and guarantee at least one home playoff game. Let's preview Tennessee. Let's look back on Indianapolis, and let's look big picture at the AFC playoffs with Mike DeRocco of ESPN.com. D-Rock's always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Mike, how we doing, man?
I'm good, Hacker. How are you?
Mike, we're good. Thank you so much for the time. I know you're fresh back from Indianapolis. Nice win for the Jaguars amidst some bad circumstances, right? A couple of turnovers in the red zone, a 4th and 1 quarterback sneak that did not work. I thought a couple of calls that did not go the Jaguars' way by the officials. And yet, despite all that, the Jaguars were able to pull out a pretty hard-fought road division game in the month of December.
Yeah, I actually thought that win was probably one of their 2 or 3 best wins of the season for all the reasons you mentioned, but also they were down 2 offensive linemen. Another, Anton Harrison, was battling an illness. There were some other guys on the team that had been sick throughout the week as well. And then, they didn't have Jordan Lewis. He was gone for the rest of the year after getting put on IR with a broken foot. The stakes were really, really high because they knew that the Texans had lost the day before, and they had to win this game on the road against Phillip Rivers, or they lose control of their own destiny, and the Texans take over as the number one or the leader in the AFC South. So there was a lot going on in that game, and didn't play their best at times. It rallied from a 10-0 deficit too. Not to mention, they went for it on 4th down again after the failed 4th down stop to get it, and that was after a couple of bad penalties that pushed them back. So I thought it was one of their 2 or 3 best wins of the season, just a really, really gritty win. And I know that they say this all the time, and that it's not easy to win in the league, especially on the road. And that really is the case. So sets up this week, fantastic stakes, with the Titans, the team that probably everybody here in Jacksonville hates the most at this point in time. So really, really tough showing from this team last week.
Mike, you and I last spoke on air in early December, and at that point, Trevor was playing fairly well, but he's played out of his mind in the last couple of weeks. I mean, we're talking, 16 touchdowns to only 1 turnover in the last 5 games. And you look at the last 3 games, I think it's 12 touchdowns to only 1 turnover. Why is it going so well right now for Trevor Lawrence?
Wow, I'm actually working on that as part of, this big story on the Jags getting to the playoffs and the main reasons why. And I think part of it is his confidence is through the roof. He's got receivers he really, really trusts now. The Jacoby Myers addition can't be overlooked. I mean, that is the guy he absolutely trusts the most. He trusts clearly Brenton Strange and Parker Washington. So, I think the knowledge of the offense, his complete knowledge of, hey, the protections and changing protections and switching into plays that are better looks against the defensive looks that he's getting. Liam Cohen has praised that all the time throughout the entire season. It's just it's a well-run machine right now because I think everybody's clearly on the same page. And the other thing too is if you go back to that Houston loss in the I can't remember what the date it was, but they blew that 19-point lead in the fourth quarter. After that game, earlier in the week, Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence during their weekly meeting had the conversation of let it rip. He just told Trevor, like, look, just let it go. If you see it, throw it. Quit worrying about turning the ball over. We'll deal with it. We'll figure out a way to overcome it. But you've got to let the ball rip. You've got to play free. And he's done that. And I think the element of his legs that we've seen way more in the last 7 games, a 7-game win streak, than we saw in the first part of the season is a huge part of his success too, because now you've called quarterback draws. He's been willing to scramble. So you've had to defenses now have to game plan for that as well. He looks like the guy that played at Clemson. He looks like the generational talent that you thought you were getting. Is he going to be able to play at the high level that he's played for 16, 17 games? I don't know. But if he's pretty close to it, then yeah, you've got one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league, and depending on the week, one of the top 5.
Mike DiRocco of ESPN.com. D-Rock, you mentioned Liam Cohen, and I'm still taken aback every time I think about the fact that the Jaguars, I believe, were the only team that showed any interest in interviewing Liam Cohen for the head coaching vacancy. And there were a lot of coaching openings in the NFL last year. And history's a long time, Mike, and Liam Cohen is now the first-year head coach in NFL history to inherit a team that won 4 or fewer games and in 1 year's time take them to 12 or more wins. Nobody has ever done that before Liam Cohen. What a find that was by Shad Khan, Tony Boselli, and everybody involved with that search.
Yeah, look, it probably is going to come off as me being a homer because I cover the Jags, but he's the NFL Coach of the Year, without question, for me. Mike Vrabel's been in this position before. Yes, he's done a really, really good job with the Patriots. He's probably got the MVP after, Stafford's stumble on Monday Night Football and Drake May. Ben Johnson's done a tremendous job in Chicago, but there was a lot more talent, especially offensively, that he stepped into in Chicago. Odunze, DJ Moore, Caleb Williams. We all know how much of a mess and how dysfunctional this franchise was last year and a half. Trevor Lawrence coming off the concussion and the shoulder, nobody knew if he was going to rebound. He'd been not good the second half of 23 and 24. You know what I mean? And then, oh, by the way, you lose your top offensive player in Travis Hunter. They elevated him to the wide receiver 1 role because the guy you thought was your best offensive player wasn't and was really struggling, Brian Thomas Jr. So they've had to adjust to that. They've had to add Jacoby Myers to a team that really, you were looking at the receiver core after Hunter goes down and you go, man, what are they going to do? And he's done it in a division that's been pretty tougher than everybody thought. I think we talked at the beginning of the year about how weak we thought that division would be. But, man, they've gone on the road. They won in Denver. They won at San Francisco. I mean, they have really beaten teams. I think that some of their wins are more impressive than anything we've seen out of the Patriots, to be honest with you. And, I guess the only other guy that I would say, hey, who would you rank even or maybe ahead of Liam Cohen in Coach of the Year might be Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco, just because he's had to deal with all those injuries. Brock Purdy was gone for a while. He got a lot out of Mac Jones, and we saw bad Mac Jones last year. And, they lost Bosa, they lost Fred Warner, and yet here they are in contention for the number 1 seed in the NFC. So, but I think the award really should go to Liam Cohen. It's been one of the best coaching jobs in the NFL over the last 5-6 years, and he's not going to win it just because it's Jacksonville, but he should.
Couple more from Mike DeRocco of ESPN.com. D-Rock, I want to get to Tennessee, but to that point, talk about coaching mattering in the National Football League. Everybody talks about Trevor and Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker, and with good reason. They're performing, and that's why the Jaguars, in large part, are where they are. But I want to talk about the Cole Van Lannens of the world, right? The B.J. Greens of the world, the Quentin Morrises of the world, Dennis Gardeck. I mean, you bring these guys in, and I'm sure Jaguar fans were scratching their head, like who are these guys? And they're vital parts of this team, and even some holdovers. Jarian Jones is playing the best football of his career. Monteric Brown, Antonio Johnson, good grief. Both of those guys are playing the best football of their career. What Cohen and this staff have done, and Gladstone for that matter, in assembling it, the overall roster is just absolutely terrific work.
Yeah, and look, don't forget Devin Lloyd also playing the best football of his career. Look, the difference between the teams that can win consistently in this league, there's two things to me. Number one, you win the games against the teams you're supposed to beat. And the Jaguars have done that all year. They were supposed to go up to Indy and win, and they did. Was it easy? No. Is it always going to be easy? Absolutely not. But they did that. And the other thing, if you're going to be a successful team, it cannot all be on your stars or your best players. Your second-tier guys, your third-tier guys, your role players, however you want to call them, they have to step up to, and they have to do it pretty consistently. And what you're describing, those guys, they've done it. Jarian Jones, 2 fourth-quarter interceptions the last 2 games that helped them win those games. B.J. Green, they're not getting any production out of Emmanuel Ogbah. So he goes to the bench, and you're bringing in Danny Strigow and B.J. Green, and those guys are contributing. You're not getting anything out of Mason Smith. So all of a sudden, Matt Dickerson is in the game and playing significant snaps in significant situations. So you've got to get that kind of contribution from those other guys. And you're right. Kudos for this staff for coaching those guys up. Kudos for the personnel staff for bringing in guys like B.J. Green and Danny Strigow, 2 undrafted rookies. And the other thing too, good on Liam Cohen for being willing to adapt, and good on James Gladstone for not being willing to, or for not pressuring him to play his guys. Letting Cohen decide who needs to play, because we've seen this before. I guarantee you, if Trent Baalke were the GM here still, Mason Smith would be playing a lot. There's no doubt in my mind. But this staff has realized he's not helping us. He's not getting it done. We got to take a look at these other guys, and that's the sign of a good franchise.
Mike, as we wrap up, we got about 2 minutes to go. Tennessee on Sunday, a win for Jacksonville gives them the AFC South. Here's my thought about the Titans. I think Cam Ward's coming around a little bit. They've scored, I believe, 24 points at least in the last 4 games, and they've won 2 of those games. The Titan defense is terrible. I mean, really, really bad. Their secondary, I watched that Saints game. I was blown away at how wide open some of the Saints wide receivers are. So point being, I think Tennessee might score a little bit. We'll see. The Jaguar defense is probably better than some of the teams the Titans have played. But I don't know for the life of me if the Jaguars are coherent on Sunday, how that Titan defense is going to stop Jacksonville.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I think this should be another one of those games that they win. I mean, they did that when they went up to Nashville on November 30. It wasn't pretty, but it was 25-3. The Titans, after the first drive, didn't get anything done and were never really in the game. And look, there's a lot. This is a sort of like a repeat of the Indianapolis game. A lot riding on this game. You have to win this game. Because now it looks like the Chargers, the Colts are playing the Texans, and it looks like it's going to be Riley Leonard. So you would expect the Texans to win that game. So you have to win this game to win the division, to get that home playoff game, which is so, so important. I'm with you. I think if they prepare the way that they've prepared all season, they take this game as seriously as they've taken all the other games, and they walk out there and they play the way that they've played for 90% of the season, then they should win that game by double digits. And then, boom, you've won the division, you've got the home playoff game, And Jacksonville, as we all know, Hack, when this team's in the playoffs, the atmosphere in the city, not just on game day, but in the city, is electric, and it's so much fun to watch and so much fun to be around.
Mike, leave us with this. If they win the division, the 3 wild card teams are going to be the Texans, the Bills, or the Chargers. There's some thought in L.A. from some members of the media out there that maybe Harbaugh's thinking and not playing Herbert and a bunch of his guys is they actually are trying to avoid Jacksonville and get the 7 to go to Foxborough, which is interesting. The Chargers haven't matched up well with Jacksonville in recent years, as we know. It looks like, Buffalo certainly is probably the betting favorite to come here. There's a world where Houston would come here as well. Man, I would love that opportunity from a Jacksonville perspective because they're going to be the underdogs. Everybody nationally will pick Buffalo or Houston, and that will fit into the narrative that Liam Cohen has built here about the lack of respect the entire season.
Oh, yeah, that is they have embraced that and are rolling with it, and, good for them. I keep thinking, they're overreacting to that. But then, I see stuff that's said on social media and I see, stories and I hear analysts talk and I'm like, yeah, I guess I kind of see why they're leaning into that. And if I'm the Jags, me personally, if I'm coaching the Jaguars, I would much rather have Buffalo in here, the Chargers in here, than the Texans. And I know fans are probably the other way around because they want revenge for that game where the Jaguars gave up that 19-point fourth quarter lead. But that defense is ungodly good, ungodly good. And I would much rather have those other guys. I get Josh Allen, a Super Bowl or Superman Josh Allen, but you can beat that team. There's not a whole else lot on that team offensively you got to worry about. But James Cook, and this team's been really, really good against the run all year. So I'd rather, if I'm the Jags, avoid the Texans until, the second. You hope that maybe they go up to Pittsburgh or wherever and get upset. But, if you could get the Chargers, I think you'd do handstands and cartwheels because you match up against that team so well. Justin Herbert has never beaten Trevor Lawrence, and beating them twice in the same season is not a big deal because they've done it before.
Mike, what do you have coming out on ESPN.com as kickoff approaches between the Jaguars and the Titans?
Yeah, we've got a story about this team moving forward and what they've got to do to kind of clean up some of the many issues that they've had in the last couple of weeks. And, I'm working on this big playoff preview story and Liam Cohen's story about what he's done to get this team to the playoffs. And I think it's been, in diving into it and looking at the numbers, it's really, really it's interesting. His adaptability, the culture that he's established, and what he's done with Trevor Lawrence, the top 3 reasons in my book that they are where they are. And I'm having a lot of fun researching and writing that story.
Mike DiRocco, ESPN.com. D-Rock, I know you're busy, man. Thank you for the time. I'll see you down there in the Jaguar locker room tomorrow.
Absolutely, Hack. Thanks, bud.
Every Friday in the fall is Pregame Friday.
Is this what I think it is? Yes, it is.
We'll get you ready for the games. Who's in, who's out.
This is what I'm talking about.
Built by Dream Finders Homes. Homes built to fit your lifestyle on 1010XL.
The holidays are coming, and so is your family. Is your septic system ready?
Honey, why is the yard bubbling?
Dad, the dog's swimming in the septic tank.
That's one way to greet the in-laws.
Don't let a septic disaster be the highlight of your holiday dinner. Call Duck Duck Rooter today and get it fixed before Uncle Bob finds out the hard way. Duck Duck Rooter, your local septic experts. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Blitz.
How good is that? How good is that?
Bang.
How good is that?
Text Blitz to 641-1010 now. Your time matters, so why waste it sitting in a dealership for a basic oil change? At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, you're in and out in 15 minutes. No appointment needed, and you never leave your car. Rated 4.7 stars nationwide and #1 quick lube in America by Forbes, the experts at Valvoline will have you on your way quickly And FYI, your warranty can't be affected by having Valvoline work on it. That's the law, no matter what other places may insinuate. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Quick, easy, done.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, adorable mascot for Checkmate Coatings.
If you're thinking of refinishing your garage floor, there's 2 things you need to know about us. My family has been in the concrete coatings industry for more than 40 years.
And I was drawn 6 months ago by an artist in New Jersey.
Why is that even relevant?
Well, you said 40 years experience, so I had to give them something.
Over the years, we've worked closely with major manufacturers to develop a multi-layer application process that creates beautiful, durable, and long-lasting floors.
So even decades from now, your garage floor will look as gorgeous as it did the day it was installed.
Experience?
Check. Durable?
Check. Decades of experience making garage floors gorgeous? Checkmate.
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit CheckmateCoatings.com. That's CheckmateCoatings.com.
FIFA World Cup 2026 is coming soon, but your opportunity to be there starts now through an exclusive offer with an eligible Bank of America Visa credit card. For a limited time, become a new customized Cash Rewards or unlimited Cash Rewards Visa credit card holder, and you will be eligible for a chance to purchase FIFA World Cup 2026 tickets. Learn more at BofA.com/cardFWC26. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America N.A. in partnership with Visa. Terms apply. Warrants reserved.
For over 55 years, Green Acres Sporting Goods has proudly served Jacksonville from the corner of Normandy and Hammond Boulevard. From archery to hunting and fishing, they've got the gear, service, and know-how to get you outdoor ready. Stop by their full-service archery pro shop and check out their wide selection of firearms. And while you're there, sign up for their weekly concealed weapon classes. You can find it all at greenacresporting.com.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Dr. Kevin Kaplan, team physician for the Jaguars and proud member of Jacksonville's newest orthopedic dream team. At Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, we brought together 10 board-certified fellowship-trained surgeons, each one a specialist in their field, all working together to deliver smarter, faster care with better results. From sports injuries to joint replacements, we've got the right player for every position. Visit osjax.com and meet your team. That's osjax.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's team time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Thank you to Mike DeRocco, D-Rock, ESPN.com for joining us here on Hacker After Dark. 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, Travis Holmes, Big Cat Country, and the host of the Duval Dive podcast, as we will continue the conversation on the Jaguars and the AFC playoff picture. And later on in the 9 o'clock hour, my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark as the college football playoff resumes tomorrow. Yeah, kind of caught you out of left field, didn't it? Miami and Ohio State tomorrow night. The other 3 quarterfinal games will come up on Thursday as the final 8 will kick it off in the college football playoff. Of course, the transfer portal opens on Friday, so it is a very, very busy time in the world of college football, and we'll go over a lot of that with my buddy Brent Beard. He comes up later on in the 9 o'clock hour. More on the Jaguars and the Titans in a moment. I did want to get to this, and this was enough to just perturb you, just ticked me off today when the Pro Football Hall of Fame came out with their list of 15 finalists for enshrinement into Canton, Ohio. See, normally the way this works, I say normally, that's called the room. When you're one of the last 15, they say you get into the room. And what they mean by that is you get into the room to be discussed by the Hall of Fame voters. Like, it took Baselli a long time to get into the room. And then Baselli got into the room, and it still took a couple of years after that But normally, once you get into the room, once you're a finalist, you remain in the room until ultimately you get put in Canton, Ohio, which is exactly what happened with Tony Baselli. So Fred Taylor, who I think should be in the Hall of Fame already, has been in the room as a Pro Football Hall of Fame finalist for the previous 2 years. And again, most of the time that you get into the room, you're going to remain there. You're going to keep becoming a finalist until ultimately you get into Canton. So it's very disheartening when earlier today, the 15 finalists for 2026 enshrinement into the Pro Football Hall of Fame are announced, and Fred Taylor is not on that list. Now, Fred Taylor is 18th all-time in rushing yardage in the National Football League. 11,695 yards. The 17 guys that are ahead of him, I'll go quick here. Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton, Frank Gore, Barry Sanders, Adrian Peterson, Curtis Martin, LaDainian Tomlinson, Jerome Bettis, Eric Dickerson, Derrick Henry, Tony Dorsett, Jim Brown, Marshall Faulk, Edgerrin James, Marcus Allen, Franco Harris, and Thurman Thomas. All 17 of the guys that are ranked ahead of Fred Taylor, or have more rushing yardage than Fred Taylor, are either already in the Pro Football Hall of Fame or will be when they become eligible. I.e., Frank Gore is not in yet, but I believe he will be this year. Derrick Henry is still playing, but once he retires, add 5 years, and Derrick Henry will be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So everybody that's got more rushing yardage than Fred is either in already or they will get in. So keep that as a backdrop. Then you go to the 15 finalists this year. Ones I don't have a problem with. Drew Brees, no issue there. Larry Fitzgerald, no issue there. Frank Gore will get in. It's a career achievement award for Frank Gore. I think in their prime Fred Taylor was a better player than prime Frank Gore, but Frank Gore played 16 seasons in the NFL and is in the top 5 all-time in rushing yardage. Eli Manning, have no issue. Terrell Suggs, Reggie Wayne, Jason Witten, no issue with a lot of these guys. I didn't think Fred would get in this year, but I'm shocked that he's not one of the 15 finalists. Shocked. Actually, I would say I'm probably appalled by that. It's a disgrace. Look, I'm sorry, and this is going to sound bad. All the guys on here are good football players, but give me a break. Marshall Yanda, the offensive guard of the Baltimore Ravens, is a finalist, and Fred Taylor isn't. Marshall Yanda. Darren Woodson, former safety of the Cowboys, a Pro Football Hall of Fame finalist, and Fred Taylor isn't. Kevin Williams, defensive tackle, Minnesota. Good player, but you're telling me he's a finalist and Fred Taylor isn't? Jari Evans, guard, New Orleans Saints. Again, good player. He's a finalist and Fred Taylor isn't? It's laughable. That's a joke. It's ludicrous. Now, again, I think there were more than 5 guys on this finalist list that probably deserve to get in before Fred. I think you could absolutely say Drew Brees without any hesitation. Larry Fitzgerald without any hesitation. I think Eli Manning, who I think should have got in last year. If you're a 2-time Super Bowl MVP, you belong in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Jason Witten, I would have very little issue with that. Terrell Suggs, I'd have very little issue with that. Point being, I don't think Fred was getting in anyway. But the fact that he wasn't one of the 15 finalists when he has been in previous years, and he, I guess, got kicked out for the likes of Marshall Yanda, Darren Woodson, Kevin Williams, and Jahari Evans? For those of you that think the small market doesn't matter, that the Jaguars just conjure that up out of thin air, again, this is proof of that. That's preposterous. If Fred Taylor played in New York or Chicago or Atlanta or Miami or you name your big market, Dallas, he's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And he's darn sure a finalist over Marshall Yanda, Darren Woodson, and Kevin Williams. Again, those guys are fine. They're good players. Dare I say they're great players. They're not Fred Taylor. Fred Taylor's being hurt because of the Jacksonville thing, which, again, Liam Cohen has seemed to dive into that head first this year. I would continue. We have no Pro Bowlers. We have one of the best running backs in NFL history that won't get into Canton because of Jacksonville. Go out and go win the whole darn thing, man. Make them talk about you. Make them consider Jacksonville to be a player in the National Football League. I thought once Baselli got in, it was only a matter of time before Fred got in, and then Fred became a finalist, and then Fred was a finalist again, and I thought, well, he's been in the room now twice. It's only a matter of time. The fact that he's not a finalist this year is disgusting. That's disgusting. Ridiculous by the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I have a lot of Hall of Fame voters on with me. I have Hall of Fame voters that I consider buddies. I've had them on for over a decade plus, 15 years. Vic Carucci, Jason Cole. A lot of guys that vote on the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Do not agree with this at all. And I'll get some of those guys on and I'll ask them, how on earth is Fred not one of the 15 finalists? 641-1010 on the text line. What's your thought on Fred Taylor not being a Hall of Fame finalist? I can guess what your thought probably is. But if you can keep it somewhat clean, we'll read your responses coming up here on Hacker After Dark. Back into more positive things. Back into the Jaguars and the Titans. Sunday, 1 o'clock. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL. How about my guy, Leon Searcy of XL Primetime? Of course, you get him. I'll have him on tomorrow night on Hacker After Dark. You get him on the fifth quarter as well. How about Leon doing the honorary Duval before this Sunday's game? Love that. Should be quite the scene out there at Everbank Stadium with the Jaguars having an opportunity to lock up an AFC South crown. More to do, more Jaguar Titan talk with you till 10 o'clock. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us right here on Hacker After Dark.
This Sunday, we blitz the bank. All week long, listen for the Blitz the Bank sounder and text the keyword BLITZ for your shot at tickets to see the Jags take down the Titans. 641-1010. It's a Jags ticket blitz. Let's fill the seats and blitz the bank.
It's an all-out blitz.
All week on 1010XL. Or buy tickets now at jaguars.com/tickets.
Look around and we know you've got options for gasoline, but those other places, they're not in the business of more. At Shell, that's what you get every day. Members get more rewards, more savings, more special offers. You'll even get 10 cents per gallon off of your first fill when you sign up and save on every fill after that. Choose to get more and more with every drive. Join the Shell Fuel Rewards program today at fuelrewards.com. Offer valid at participating Shell locations. Offer must be redeemed within 60 days of registration. Limit 20 gallons. Restrictions apply. Visit fuelrewards.com for more information.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 14th.
From the huddle to the perfect spiral.
We invite you into the lab so that you can truly learn the quarterback position.
The quarterback whisperer. He shares his insights Friday mornings on The Drill. Wrapped up by George Moore Chevrolet and Tyson Sound and Security on 1010XL.
This bowl season, upgrade your game plan with a visit to Burlock & Barrel, Duval's first distillery dedicated solely to whiskey, right in the Brooklyn Riverside neighborhood. Stop in to see how we turn local grains into small batch whiskey, earning awards at every competition. Book a tour, settle in for a tasting, or escape the scoreboard for a bit at our full whiskey bar. Whether your team's winning or character building, at least your whiskey can be solid. At Burlock & Barrel in Riverside or burlockandbarrel.com.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality product and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
The best wings in town are coming to River City Marketplace. Leon Searcy here. Wingstop is opening another North Jacksonville location soon at the end of December. You always get fresh, made-to-order wings in 11 flavors, including original, hot, garlic parm, and of course, lemon pepper. Wingstop now has 18 locations in Jacksonville, always open until 1 a.m. So skip the wait and order your wings online at wingstop.com and swing by to pick up at the brand new Wingstop location in River City Marketplace.
Your home deserves more than just another coat of paint. It deserves quality that lasts. At First Coast Paint, you'll find premium Benjamin Moore products, trusted advice, and the local experts who help you get it right the first time. Whether it's your living room, your porch, or your whole house, First Coast Paint brings your paint project to life. Stores in St. John's and St. Augustine. One name Jacksonville trusts. Mention 1010XL for 10% off. First Coast Paint. Simply superior paint.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Packer After Dark on 1010XL.
Back into the Jacksonville Jaguars in the 9 o'clock hour. My buddy Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country and the Duval Dive podcast joins us coming up here in about 20 minutes or so. As I mentioned earlier, all eyes on the transfer portal, which opens up Friday. Never mind the fact you have the college football playoff going on in the next 48 hours with the 4 quarterfinal games begins tomorrow night. In Denmark, are the other 3 games all on Thursday?
Yes.
I would think they have to be, right? Yeah. So you have tomorrow night, Ohio State, Miami. And then, of course, Thursday, Indiana, Alabama, Oregon, Texas Tech, and Georgia, Ole Miss. Let's quickly go through these. Ohio State, Miami's fascinating. And look, I talked about this with some people earlier. Hayes Carline and I talked about it. The 4 teams that had byes in the first round, well, that's great. But they haven't played a game in over 3.5 weeks. And the 4 teams that won, obviously, have kept their rhythm a little bit, played a week and a half ago. So you wonder if there will be rust on Indiana, Ohio State, Georgia, and Texas Tech. As far as Ohio State, Miami goes, Ohio State's got the better team, right? I mean, Miami's good. Don't get me wrong. It's a nice win over Texas A&M. You do wonder how Ohio State will respond after the last time they were out getting shut out by Indiana. But I know a lot of people picking Miami to win. I would be stunned by that. I would be stunned. Although
people?
Well, Carline, for one, is picking Miami to win. I got a couple of buddies that have no dog in the fight that think Miami's winning. In fact, somebody that I know is putting some matchsticks on Miami winning.
Yeah,
nobody that works here, actually.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Leon obviously thinks they're going to win. More people that I've talked to, I guess more people that I thought would think Miami's going to win. I don't. I think Ohio State's going to win. Although selfishly, from a person that has no dog in the fight, I am passionately rooting for Miami and Georgia because I would think that would be as storyline juicy a game in the national semifinal as you're going to get with Miami and the Dogs and the whole Carson Beck dynamic of that. There's not a lot of love lost from Georgia fans towards Carson Beck. Denmark, I hope we get Miami and Georgia in the semifinal. I think we'll get Georgia, but I don't think Miami beats Ohio State.
No, Ohio State's a 10-point favorite, which is a lot. And it wouldn't surprise me if it's a low-scoring game, but Ohio State is a little bit better. I mean, if Miami plays their game and they do what they're supposed to do, they will keep this a game in the fourth quarter. But, yeah, that would be a really good game. I mean, when the teams came out, the most interesting matchup was going to be if Georgia and Miami would have found a way to play each other. And at least they have a chance in the Final Four. I know some people in Atlanta on radio, they were talking about potentially being a national title game before the bracket came out. It's not going to happen. But it's that is going to be a very interesting game to see.
Hey, look, Carson Beck's got a lot more big game experience than a lot of the Ohio State playmakers. So we'll see what happens. So give me Ohio State. Give me Georgia. I think Georgia has a relatively easy time of it with Ole Miss. Oregon, Texas Tech, I'll be truthful here. I've seen Oregon twice. I've seen Texas Tech once. I don't have a lot to base that game off of other than the fact that Texas Tech is probably the best team in America that no one talks about, including myself. And I've heard enough people tell me how good Texas Tech is, so I'll take their word for it. And then I'm as excited about Indiana, Alabama as probably I am any other game in the quarterfinal. Alabama from the standpoint that, boy, it seems like a million years ago they lost to Florida State. And Kalen DeBoer, to his credit, has recovered and got them into the quarterfinal. And they play Indiana, which, again, I know you and I have talked about this. I talked about it with Hayes Carline earlier. If Indiana wins the national championship, that would require them going 16-0 with wins already over Oregon and Ohio State. They would obviously have to beat Alabama, and then they would have to beat the winner of Texas Tech, Oregon, and more than likely either Ohio State again or Georgia. And if Indiana were to do that, if the Indiana Hoosiers out of Bloomington were to go 16-0 and win a college football national championship, I mean, you're in top 10, top 5 territory for biggest stories ever in college football.
Yeah, it would. Indiana winning the national title would not ruin the sport, but it would really hurt the sport from the standpoint of every single team at any single coach that gets hired. You think the leash is short for them now? Let Indiana win a national title.
It's unreal. It's unreal. And there would be a movie about that. Carline brought that up earlier, and somebody on the text line said it would be titled "Who's Your Daddy?" The Curt Cignetti story, which I love. That's pretty good. You know, a lot of people around here are going to pick Bama because, like it or not, we're SEC homers, a lot of us. My thing with Indiana is nobody gave them a chance at Eugene against Oregon. They won that. People didn't think they would beat Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. They won that. They're used to being doubted. They're being doubted again. I want the story to continue. Take away my SEC card, I guess. I'll probably be rooting for Indiana. I think that would be fascinating if they were to end up 16-0 and winners of the national championship. We are at halftime. Hacker After Dark, 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock as we do every night right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. More college football talk and back into the Jaguars-Titans. Travis Holmes, BigCatCountry.com, joins us in less than 15 minutes right here on Hacker After Dark.
Get national insight from a local legend.
I know exactly who this man is.
Mike Duraco.
And we get his insight every Thursday from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today with Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony. Breaking by Lee and Kate's Glass on 1010XL.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, I'm worried.
You? Really? About what?
Well, I like to have a little seasonal potluck. You know, invite some friends and neighbors and guys from the office. But if the food gets spicy and the party gets rocking and that old toilet in the two-piece can't handle the traffic, well, what if my drain backs up right in the middle of everything?
Dude, imagine you're wearing my sunglasses.
Okay. Shoomp. Whoa.
If you're planning to host a holiday party and a blocked household drain line threatens to ruin the whole thing, call us and tell us. The drain clearing experts at Bueller Aaron Plumbing will unclog your drain for free.
You do that for free?
It's Christmas.
Yeah, but for free?
The holidays can get pretty hectic. If a clogged drain line threatens to ruin the whole thing, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
December 30th is the birthday for Sandy Koufax, Tiger Woods, and LeBron James.
Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
Canines for Warriors provides veterans with lifelong companions in one of their highly trained service dogs. If you know a veteran who could benefit from a companion or simply want to support, visit caninesforwarriors.org.
Your love can give pets a purpose. To adopt a loving animal from the Jacksonville Humane Society, call 725-8766.
Having a mentor can positively change a young life right here in Jacksonville. It only takes 4 to 7 hours a month to be a big brother or big sister and change a life forever. Become a big today at bbbsnefl.org.
There's a critical need for all blood types. Please consider donating to a local blood donation center.
If you could benefit from a grief and loss support group, call Haven Hospice at 279-1677.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
PRP treatment is kind of the thing these days, and in many cases, it eliminates the need for surgery. This is Sheridan Tootin, and my experience with PRP from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has been nothing short of great. I'm really feeling much better now. Ask your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist doctor about PRP treatment.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Glad you're with us. 9 o'clock hour, Hacker After Dark, with you till 10 o'clock right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. Jaguars Titans Sunday 1 o'clock. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL. Pre-game coverage beginning here on 1010XL at 8 a.m. And that'll take you through the network pregame, the broadcast, the network postgame. And then, of course, we will have the fifth quarter for you. Myself, the Pro Bowler Leon Searcy, and the coach Gerald Ingram Sunday evening beginning at 6 o'clock. All right, so I'm going to have, for whatever reason, I've been doing this long enough now where you just develop buddies, right? Relationships in other NFL markets. And I got a bunch of buddies in Nashville just because I've had them on a lot over the years. They've had me on their programs over the years. And I just call them up and, we talk. We talk about the Jaguars and the Titans. And sometimes we talk not even in a radio interview setting. We just shoot the breeze. And I'm going to have some of these guys on tomorrow and Friday. But I called a couple of my Nashville buddies, obviously, because it's such a huge game for the Jaguars. And I said, all right, fill me in on Tennessee, because they were 1-11. And for whatever it's worth, they've won 2 of their last 4. The offense looks like it's finding themselves a little bit. I was just curious about what's going on in Nashville as they come down here for their season finale on Sunday. And this is the nuggets that I was given from people that cover the Titans every day. Cam Ward is developing and looking considerably better than he did for the first 2 months. In fact, the game against Jacksonville up in Nashville was Ward's worst game since the bye week. He's looked significantly better in every game other than the first Jaguar game. Take that for whatever it's worth. The offensive line, which was a turnstile as recently as a month ago, has started blocking a little better. Are they the Hogs, right? Are they the greatest offensive line on the planet? No, but they're better than maybe they were a month ago. The running game for Tennessee is pretty good. That's enabling Cam Ward to do some things down the field. Tony Pollard is over the 1,000-yard mark. Defensively, though, is the problem. Their front 4 is fine. Their linebackers are probably below average, but they're not dreadful. The issue is the secondary. I didn't know this, but this is what I was told. So if you go back to training camp, back to July and August, cornerbacks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 for the Titans on their depth chart have either been traded or are on injured reserve. Their 2 starting cornerbacks here in Jacksonville on Sunday will essentially be cornerbacks number 7 and number 8 for what was originally thought for this defense. That's unbelievable. They've lost to trade or injury their top 6 corners. At safety, it's basically as grim. They still have Amani Hooker, who is a veteran, who hasn't played very well. But after him, they've lost their next 4 safeties. So they have Amani Hooker and safety number 6 as their 2 starting safeties on Sunday. Because I was wondering, when I'm watching the Saints-Titans highlights from last week, why literally no one is covering Chris Olave. He could do no wrong. He could do whatever he wanted. And that's the answer that I got. The Titans have basically been bringing guys in off the street and starting them at corner. That's how dire their secondary is. So if the Jaguar passing attack, if Trevor Lawrence is coherent on Sunday, you would expect he, along with Parker and Jacoby, Brenton Strange, BTJ, ETN, all the fellas, you would expect them to thrive against that secondary. And as far as the Titan offense, that's simple. Stop Tony Pollard, you'll stop Tennessee. The reason Tennessee has scored 24 or more points in the last 4 games is because Tony Pollard's running the ball, and that's enabling Cam Ward to go down the field. If you stop the Titans' run, Cam Ward's not going to beat you down the field. Stop Tony Pollard, you stop the Titans. Pretty simple. We'll continue the conversation. Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country. He's also the host of the Duval Dive podcast. He joins me next. Let's talk Jags-Titans. Let's review Indianapolis. And let's talk big picture AFC playoffs. Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country next, right here on Hacker After Dark.
He watches the coach's film to find the things you might have missed. Jeff Lageman checks the tape for you. Tuesdays during football season on Jaguars Today. Inspected by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
Ah, family's here. Ready for a perfect holiday?
Honey, the toilet's overflowing.
What? Now? With everyone here?
The sink's backed up too. Cool, it's like a water park in here.
Great! Best holiday ever.
Don't panic. Just call Duck Duck Rooter. They'll fix it before we're swimming in mashed potatoes.
Got a holiday plumbing disaster? Call Duck Duck Rooter, your local plumbing pros. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece.
Yo, Jackson Jacksonville, Hickens hype. Checkmate Coatings crushes it with floors I'd put in my own pad.
I'm Brendan with Checkmate Coatings. We coat it all: garages, pool decks, driveways, and patios. Be the envy of your neighbors.
Rush to checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Have a ball picking the bowls.
You've got the chance to win $1,000 in jewelry from Beard's Diamonds.
Brought to you by Burlock and Barrel American Whiskey.
You pick 'em.
Log on to 1010XL.com and start picking.
Truth Teller here, and I've solved all of your holiday problems and stress. A gift card from the Blue Crab Crab House. Get this, you buy a $50 gift card, and you get an additional $15 card for free. It's that simple, and as always at the Blue Crab Crab House, the best crabs in Jacksonville, oysters and seafood, period. Blue Crab Crab House, open every day except for Monday, off of San Jose on Jewington Creek Road.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
I know it's football season, but I know you love basketball too. And youth sports are always in season at the First Coast YMCA. Registration is now open for winter basketball at the Y. Today, more than ever, our kids need to experience the joy of being a kid while also learning the importance of teamwork, respect, and healthy living. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, fun environment with an exciting youth basketball league. Learn more at fcymca.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. Jaguars Titans Sunday 1 o'clock. A win for Jacksonville would give them the 2025 AFC South crown, and of course you will hear the game right here on 1010XL. Let's talk about the 12-4 Jacksonville Jaguars. Boy, how good does that sound? And let's preview what'll hopefully be a good day at Everbank Stadium on Sunday against Tennessee with Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country. He's also the host of the Duval Dive podcast, and Travis is always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Travis, how we doing, man?
A great day in Duval when the Jaguars win, so you know I'm doing well, sir.
Travis, 4 wins in 2024 to 12 wins in 2025. In fact, Liam Cohen becomes the first-time head coach in the history of the NFL to do that, to inherit a team that won 4 or fewer games and in 1 year's time turn them into a team that has won 12 or more games. How did Liam Cohen do this in 1 year?
Well, to start, it wasn't just Liam Cohen. I mean, as much as we would love to give the credit to one guy because it just comes across as way simpler, let's be honest, like it was a conglomerative effect of overall having an EVP who was truly engaged with what's going on in Duval and Tony Baselli, having a general manager who's actually has your back and is actually implementing your scheme, your vision, your goal as far as that's concerned with the personnel moves that's being made on the side, having an owner behind you who's not like shy about spending money and making the moves that's necessary to have a winning organization, and then having a head coach who's actually like truly engaged with these players, truly has their backs both publicly and privately from everything that we hear, and also kind of just like reaching these guys where they are, if that makes sense. I mean, you've seen the the fact you've talked about it on this show, actually, the fact that Liam Cohen feels like someone who's a pissed off member of the of the Jacksonville Jaguar fan base. And because of that, those guys in that locker room, they also feel it. Like that helps you find those edges that help when you're in the middle of the season and you're just trying to get through this thing, because it is still a job and it is still work. He finds those abilities to kind of pull it out of these guys. And this is a younger core of guys, and he's still finding ways to get the best out of them. And that's where I put it all on Liam Cohen's plate. He's been a great leader of men, and that's been the most surprising part about this.
And to that point, and you write for Big Cat Country, the biggest fan Jaguar website out there, Liam Cohen does feel like he relates to the fan base, or he understands the fan base more so than maybe any coach since Coughlin even. You got to go back a long time. Just some of the things that he says publicly are things Jaguar fans have been talking about for years. The lack of respect, the small market, this, that, and the other. I think Boselli has probably helped him understand that so quickly, but it does feel like Cohen does have the pulse of this fan base.
Well, I mean, yeah, and that's been the funniest part about it, is because he has Tony Boselli, Jaguar great in his ear on one side. His agent is a former Jacksonville Jaguars offensive lineman, Jaquez McClendon. Like you from all angles, you have history with the Jacksonville Jaguars fan base speaking to this man. So that helps from one standard. Like even the general manager from the Rams has history with the Jaguars from that perspective. So like from every angle, there is history in Jacksonville. So he should be aware. But you could make that argument from all these past coaches, to be honest. Like, again, I just want to be real about this. You could easily make the argument that all of the previous coaches, of course, you should know the history of the organization and of the fan base. But what seems obvious to us in this local media and in this local fan base doesn't necessarily seem obvious to those guys. So credit to him for listening to those guys he has around him, for also searching out what's going on in the fan base, for listening to those guys, listening to the media, listening to the fans, and giving back that same energy, because it not only then comes across as, oh, he's a good coach. Oh, well, no, he's a coach who is engaged in what we're talking about and making some of these decisions that he sees are good based on the recommendations of what he's seen from those guys around him. Like, that's a sign of a great coach and a great leader.
Couple of more for Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country. You also see him as host of the Duval Dive podcast. Trevor Lawrence, 26 passing touchdowns, now 9 rushing touchdowns. That's some rarefied air among quarterbacks to have that many touchdowns on the ground and in the air in the same season. Certainly playing his best football. What is going right right now for Trevor Lawrence?
I mean, nearly everything. And I say nearly everything with a little bit of tongue-in-cheek, because this is following this Indianapolis Colts game where a lot of things didn't go right, to be clear. I mean, the pre-snap penalties popped up. You had the issues with burning timeouts because guys didn't get set up. You had drop steps populated. You had an interception for the first time in what I believe it was 5 weeks, if not 6 weeks. Overall, things didn't go right, but Trevor Lawrence seemed to find a way to move to play above those issues and still kind of will these guys to a victory. So from that perspective, what's going right is him just learning and feeling comfortable in this Liam Cohen offense. I mean, we've seen that slow uptick of his stats, the slow uptick, just looking at the film of him being able to move in and out of the pocket without issue, even when it was messy pocket days like yesterday. And it just feels like that Trevor's finally like grasping this offense, and it's not an easy offense. And he's actually able to kind of like lead this team based on that information. So that's the big piece of what's going well. But the second piece of what's going well, I would say, is to your point with the 9 touchdowns on the ground. They're using his legs a lot more than they were earlier in the season. And it's fortunately for the Jacksonville Jaguars paying a lot of dividends, because in the red zone, you saw the 2 touchdowns on the ground, 1 designed run, 1 non. It's forcing teams to kind of react to what the Jaguars offense wants to do instead of kind of doing what they would prefer to do. I mean, you saw multiple occasions on Sunday where the Colts would have a spy looking at Trevor Lawrence, and it didn't matter because Trevor would still get the angle and run the ball in, or run and pick up the first down, or they would have an additional guy in coverage who should have been maybe eyeing Trevor a little bit more. Instead, he ends up finding the dig right behind this guy for a 15-yard gain. And I'm like, all right, this is going to be a problem for a lot of teams. They're going to have to decide whether or not they want to stop the Jaguars' run game, whether they want to put an extra guy in coverage, or whether they want to spy Trevor Lawrence. And no matter what you do, you're going to probably make the wrong decision because they're going to counter. It's been real interesting, though.
And the combination, too, of Jacoby Myers and Parker Washington, and certainly you have to include Britton Strange, Brian Thomas Jr., which is kind of ironic. He's like the third wide receiver now. If that guy ever gets going like he did last year, look out. But Parker Washington's had back-to-back 100-yard games. Jacoby Myers does the dirty work, but he had a couple of catches on Sunday that you just go, holy crap, including that 3rd and 11. I mean, it was a 10-yard gain at the end of the day, but what a throw and what a catch there around the 2-minute warning that enabled the Jaguars to go for it and ultimately salt the game away.
Yeah, that was an incredible throw, and this is so wild because Trevor puts it in a spot that's just frankly impossible. And as a defensive back, I'm just looking at this like, what do you do there? Because it was that good of a throw. When then you look back at the play and you see that he has a guy like right in his face where he can barely even step into the throw, and he makes it. And again, shout out to Jacoby Myers for completing that catch. You can't always say that in Jacksonville Jaguars history. So the fact of the matter is, like, he's completing a lot of these impossible throws while you have receivers completing impossible catches. These guys are playing complementary football on both sides of that offense, kind of carrying their weight. But I still do have a little bit of concern because my biggest tag, I'll say, on that play was the fact that there was still that interior pressure, and we saw a lot of that on Sunday. I mean, I believe it was like half of Trevor Lawrence's snaps, around 47% of his snaps end up being pressured. But that's also with that additional thought process that you were missing Robert Hainsey. You were missing Patrick McCarry. You did have a sick Anton Harrison playing. Like, you had a few issues as far as the offensive line were concerned where I can maybe give that a pass, but also just kind of keep it in mind that maybe when this playoff football is continuing in the future, let's keep a lookout for those other teams running stunts and that interior pressure potentially popping up for the Jaguars.
Final moments, Travis Holmes, Big Cat Country, and the host of the Duval Dive podcast. That brings us to Sunday, 1 o'clock. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL. The Jaguars, one home win away over the Tennessee Titans from winning the AFC South, and what a battle it's been. The Texans have an 8-game winning streak. The Jaguars have a 7-game winning streak. I would imagine Houston probably pretty frustrated at the fact that they've rattled off 8 in a row and they're still likely to fall short in the division. But that does require a Jaguar win against the Tennessee team, Travis, that, look, I think Cam Ward has started to find himself a little bit. That Titan offense, I believe, has scored 24-plus points the last 4 games. But in watching that game against New Orleans on Sunday, as good as the Titans' offense looks, man, that defense is just brutal. They've had so many injuries and trades to the secondary. Tyler Shuck and that Saints passing attack had 300-plus yards. They could have had 500. Literally, they did whatever they wanted to against the Titans secondary. This appears to be a game where I think Tennessee might score. I just don't, for the life of me, know how that secondary in Nashville is going to stop Trevor Lawrence in the Jaguar passing attack.
I'm not even sure if they're going to score to the level that you were referencing, just to be honest and transparent about this. The success that the Tennessee Titans had against the New Orleans Saints is not something that I think is necessarily going to be able to be duplicated against the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. And that's not me saying that the Jacksonville Jaguars defense is the steel curtain or looking at this thing through teal colored shades. I am just saying that the type of quarterback and the type of offense that the Jacksonville Jaguars defense historically has struggled with in 2025 is not the type of offense that the Tennessee Titans are going to be running with Cam Ward. He's very good off schedule. Unfortunately, the Jacksonville Jaguars defense is also very good off schedule. We've already seen this play out in the initial matchup, and I don't think much has changed as it stands currently. So just to be honest, the Tennessee Titans offense has played a lot better as of late because, yes, Cam Ward has been playing a lot better off schedule. And more importantly, the teams have allowed them to continue staying balanced early on throughout the most of these games. So just like last week against the Saints, Tony Pollard had 18 rushes. The team had 28 rushes overall. It allowed Cam to kind of play a little bit more of a, prototypical offense versus being in comeback mode much of the game. And I don't think that that's necessarily going to be the case if they continue allowing teams to put up 35 to 40 points like this Jacksonville Jaguars offense is capable of doing. So I just see if the Jacksonville Jaguars get up to a strong start, 14-point start, 10-point start, something along those lines, you're going to put the Titans behind the 8 ball and start the route early, and they won't be able to play balance. And in that way, then I think the Jacksonville Jaguars party is going to get started a lot earlier for this fan base.
Jaguars-Titans, Sunday, 1 o'clock. A win for Jacksonville gives them the AFC South crown. Travis, tell us about Big Cat Country, also the Duval Dive podcast, and the coverage you'll have heading into Sunday's game against Tennessee.
Well, we're getting the party started early, obviously. So we head over to BigCatCountry.com. We're going to have all the breaking news and any takeaways from this week's pressers. Obviously, with the announcement from the NFL and the team that the game is going to take place at 1 p.m. on Sunday, make sure you make your way over to Jaguars.com or the ticket office to reserve your seats for this final regular season home game at full capacity before the playoffs kickoffs and any home games that's going to be associated there. I'm going to have you guys covered at BigCatCountry.com with, again, any breaking news, but also the Duval Dive podcast, where we allow fans, just like that Big Cat Country, to kind of get their takes in. Also, we want to react to what the fan base has to say so we can truly stay engaged and in tune with what these guys are talking about. So BigCatCountry.com, whether on YouTube or wherever you catch a podcast, and BigCatCountry.com on the website, and Duval Dive on wherever you catch your podcasts and on YouTube. We're slowly getting bigger, man, but it's a great time for Duval. It's a great time for everyone, man. So great time.
Travis Holmes, Big Cat Country, and the Duval Dive podcast. Travis, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time. Happy New Year to you and your family, and we'll talk soon, pal.
Oh, man, appreciate it.
Some people just can't get enough football.
Could we cut to the chase?
It's the Terminix Kickoff Show, live from Tailgaters Parking, 5 hours before kickoff. Presented by Campione Law and American Electrical Contracting on 1010XL.
Baloo here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and the fall part of the year just offers so much fun, especially when you're out and about. Tell everybody what's happening with Triumph right now.
They have got a lot of new models on the road, from Scrambler 400s. They've got the legendary Rocket motorcycle. Lots of really cool bikes to choose from.
And the price point and all the tricks that come with the Triumph bike, they're all there.
They're all there. Entry level to the greatest of the great. We've got them.
Look for them online, cyclesofjacksonville.com. Check out their Facebook page or that showroom on Atlantic near Regency.
Blitz.
How good is that? How good is that?
Bang.
How good is that?
Text Blitz to 641-1010 now.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick.
When